Hello everybody, you're here because you've been obviously searching for fibromyalgia videos on YouTube. Maybe you have it, maybe you've had it for a long time, maybe you know somebody that has it or suspect that they have it, or um, maybe you're just going through the searching process of finding out what you have yourself, and this statement has come up many times before. Been there, done it, had over 15 doctors during the whole period. Um, my name's John, by the way. I've had fibromyalgia for 15 years, and do not underestimate what I say now. Excuse my phone. Not one day has been the same. It's one of those moving target illnesses that the medication, the exercise, the work, the environment, everything can have such an effect on the illness that the very next day you can do exactly the same thing with completely different results. This was proven. I did a 3-month daily diary and recently read through it, and nothing matched up whatsoever. It's such a horrible illness as such. For me, it's been devastating, life destroying. I haven't worked in 15 years. It's such a hard illness to explain. With my friends and people who have asked me about my illness, they've said, what is it? And the easiest way that I've explained it, or found to explain it in the last 15 years, is think about the worst sort of flu you've ever had, with your joints and your muscles achy as hell. It's hard to survive a horrible flu. Well, with fibromyalgia, it's flu times 10 at the very minimum, on a good day times 10, and it's constant. It never goes away. That's not exaggeration. That is how I feel. On the worst days, it feels like I've literally been hit by a bus. I've said on many occasions I wouldn't wish this illness on my worst enemy, and it's true. I really wouldn't. It's horrible. You're here because you've been searching for information. I spent, and still spend, 15 years on trying to get the information, trying to find a cure. As of yet, I've not found one. I've found ways of managing some aspects of the illness, but not all. I suffer badly from the what's called fibrofog, which is memory problems. That's just due to the sleep-deprived aspect of the illness, I'm sure. But I can be in a conversation and just completely forget what I was going to say, and that's why I've, on my screen in front of me, had to write down what I wanted to say now, because it's hard to retain information for longer than 5 minutes. I know everybody has a brain fart on occasions, but this is 3 or 4 times during one conversation. I'll read out the list of the symptoms of fibromyalgia. If you're here, maybe you have them. You're trying to figure out whether you do. The doctors, for me, and probably for you, it's hard to diagnose fibromyalgia because there is no standard test. It's a case of eliminate all the other illnesses, and the one that's left, it must be fibromyalgia. So that's what you have. Brain fart, I apologise. Right, I'll go on to the list. Pain and tender points. One word, pain. It just doesn't explain it at all. It's, as I explained before, it's like the flu times 10, with a little bit of toothache added to it because it's a constant irritation. Tender points, so there's this one diagnostic test for fibromyalgia, 18 tender points, and you hold on to it, release, and if you've still got the pain, you've got fibromyalgia. Great tester. For me, I've only got 6 tender points, but I have been confirmed that I have fibromyalgia. After the last 15 years, I have it. The pain is horrible, it's constant, it's horrendous. If you have a friend that has it, you have to understand it is the worst thing that you've ever felt. It feels like limbs being cut off on certain days, bones being broken, and you just live with it. You can't get to the pain, it's in there, you can't get to it. The medication that I'm on, even at the most medication I've ever had, is 2 morphine patches at 25 micrograms or milligrams. Milligrams sounds like a lot. Micrograms, so 2 patches I had. 25 is a lot of the morphine patch, and cocoldamol, paragon forte, there's got various names. 500 grams of paracetamol and 50 grams of codeine, and I have 12 a day plus those, and that's what I was on, and it didn't take the pain away. It changed it from a knife pain in the joints to a softened, blunter pain. That's for me. Others are very lucky that the medication does take a lot of the pain away, but for me, I haven't had pain relief in 15 years. Anyway, moving on. Fatigue like you've never experienced before in your whole life. Well, maybe you have. Maybe you've been in the military and you've not slept for weeks and walked for halfway around the world. It's a constant fatigue. It's constantly there. I'll go on to it in more detail on the sleep problems, but it's soul destroying fatigue. You can sleep for 12 hours, 16 hours. I've slept with 16 hours with sleeping tablets, woke up, don't feel like I've slept whatsoever. It's like the battery, it never gets charged up. It's always blinking empty. That's my life. That's how I feel fibromyalgia is, always blinking empty. Occasionally on a very good day, beautiful sunshine, been to the beach, fills up 1 bar, but then that's instantly down again. The next thing on the list is sleep problems, and that is, in the last 15 years I don't feel like I've slept. One of the biggest problems with fibromyalgia is because of the pain in every joint, you can't get comfortable, so your body's constantly moving. You never get into I can't remember what it is, I think it's REM sleep, where the body's rebuilding cuts and bruises and stuff, where it's rebuilding itself at that point. You never get into that with fibromyalgia, so you wake up constantly tired. My most darkest, depressed days, I've asked my wife to find a way to get them to put me into a coma, just for relief. It's that bad, because I didn't feel like I could get through another second, let alone another day. I'm going to be doing several videos because things like work and pain and the sleeping problems, they're too complicated medication, too complicated to get into it in a quick video. I just wanted to say hi and open up the discussion for if anything I can do to help you guys information wise. I have a lot of information. Digressing onto other subjects, concentration and memory problems known as fibrofog. I mentioned it before, but it's horrible. Yeah, it's absolutely horrible. Because I haven't worked in 15 years, I try to do online courses to do project management. Love project management. So did the online course, and it's a subject that I love, so I'm interested in it, and I read a paragraph, 5 minutes later it's gone. Can't recall it whatsoever. Even though I was really interested in the subject and the topic, could not recall it. Tried it over several weeks, and the information just wouldn't go in. I can meet somebody, learn their name, and I've figured out that I need to say it in my head several times, so I do this, then we talk about something, and it's gone forever. Can't remember it. I don't mean to be rude, it's not something that I'm choosing to do. I'm actually actively trying to remember their name, but I just can't do it. Birth dates and all the sort of the basic information that I used to be able to retain easily before the illness, gone completely. Right, next one. Anxiety and depression, or both. The reason I'm doing this video myself is because I want to help if I can, but it was suggested that I need to talk with people. Fibromyalgia sufferers are supposed to go into a room and help each other and support each other, which is fine, other than the glaring illogic that because of the anxiety, you can't sit in a room with other people that you don't know. I still get anxious and very nervous when I'm going to meet friends. When I've got a doctor's appointment with a doctor I've known for many years, I panic, stomach problems, nervousness, can't sleep the night before just for a doctor's appointment. I used to be not the life of the party, but I certainly didn't shy off into the corner. I was very loud, very open, very jolly, and that's all gone, torn my personality apart. People that knew me before the illness and meet me now, it's like I'm a completely different person, which I hate. Thank God my wife still loves me. And the depression, the second word of that, is something that if you are here and you've been suffering for a while, it's not worth doing anything silly. I've thought about it, become very close to suicide myself. Please don't do it. It does get better. There are methods and ways of improving your life. For me, I actually ended up moving to a warmer country. I'll explain that in another video. But for me, it was about losing my job, our finances being destroyed, and then having to fight the fight with sick pay and unemployment benefit, and 2 years I had to fight against the ones in the country that I lived at, and it tore our finances apart, and I had enough, and I was very close, but it does improve, and I will get into further details on another video for depression, because it's a big subject, and fibromyalgia will not kill you. It's not a deadly disease, but the side effects will, or potentially will, and it's to be taken seriously. If you are here because somebody you love has fibromyalgia, then please talk to them. It can be very, very dark. This constant pain, constantly feel like you've not slept, constant feeling of worthlessness, like I feel even now after 15 years not being able to support my family. It's soul destroying. I've tried getting jobs, but they don't want to know, because if I call up after the second day of getting the job and say, sorry, I'm sick, how's that going to go? And it is like that. I can work for 48 hours in a row without issue, and then take 3 weeks to recover. It's that bad. I'll get into that in another video. Right, morning stiffness. Well, everybody suffers from that, but my morning stiffness is morning, afternoon, evening, and night, and all through the night until the next day, and it has been for 15 years. So morning stiffness, okay, fair enough. Numbness and tickling in the hands, arms, feet, and legs. For me, left-hand side, leg and hip the most. Left arm and shoulder, and it sounds pleasant, really. Numbness and tickly. It's like when your arms fall asleep or leg falls asleep, going to the doctor and saying that this is a problem. They look at you like you're a frickin' nutter. It's not nice. It's that tickling that's at your bone. You know, there's been times at my worst point where I wanted to get a knife, cut open my leg to scratch it in there. It sounds horrible, but it's horrible. Laid in bed at this at nights, just to change the tickling to a pain, because a pain I can cope with, but this it's horrible. Absolutely drives you crazy. If the rest of the symptoms aren't bad enough to have that on top, it's just horrible. For me, luckily, the numbness and the tickling has been reduced significantly. Some days gone, and that was with firstly the morphine patches, but I'm not on them anymore. I didn't want to be on them anymore. They were too overpowering. I'm now on a tablet called DHC, one in the morning, one at night, contains codeine, but it's not the same as the normal codeine tablet, because if I take the normal codeine tablets, the pain and numbness returns. This tablet, if I forget to take it, an hour and a half into sleeping, I wake up, extreme pain, and the left hand side of my body feels like it's not part of me anymore. So, but again, I'll get into medicines later date. Headaches, some people suffer really badly. I do suffer, but I think a lot of that could just be me not taking care of myself, drinking enough, eating the right things. I'm a lot more aware than I ever used to be. I'll get into exercise and things like that, because it's not easy with fibromyalgia, but it is possible. After 15 years, I can say that. It took me a while to get there, though. I know some with fibromyalgia that, I mean, they've got like migraines 18 hours a day, and I feel so bad for them. I suffer enough with enough problems myself, but to have that on top, I can't. I don't know how they cope. Irritable bowel syndrome, again, that's quite common with fibromyalgia sufferers. If you have it, I'm sorry, I don't, thank God. Problems with peeing, I don't have it, thank God, but again, quite common. Painful menstrual cramps, thank God I don't have it. And ladies, I'm so sorry. Talking about that, ladies. Fibromyalgia, 90% of sufferers are female, 10% are male, meaning that it's been dubbed the female disease. Wow, how do you think I felt when I was told I had that? I've got a female disease, thank you very much. I think the reason why it's only 10% of males is because males are stubborn creatures. The aches and the pains and the fog and all of that, there's a lot of men out there that choose to ignore it. They won't go to the doctor, so it's not documented. I suspect the 10% is a lot higher than what it is. I have no proof, but it's just a theory that I have. I myself couldn't continue without going to the doctors. My life was destroyed, is destroyed. The pain itself, you know, even now I have to sleep at between 1 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon for an hour so that I can make it till 9 o'clock at night. That's how bad I have it. I'm still on a lot of medications, but not as bad as what I was, which is good for my body. But that 10%, much higher. And please stop calling it the female disease. You know, yeah, thanks for that. Wow, telling all my friends I had a female disease, that was fun. Trying to convince people of your illness. I don't know if did I mention that? See, there's a problem with fibromyalgia. It's not easy. It really isn't, because you look fine. I look physically fine. I'm able. I can move everything. They don't see, I mean, they see you when you're out socializing, but they then don't see you for the next week when you're in bed, or in my case, for 3 weeks. One of the worst periods I had was 3 months, and that was from Christmas to March. And I was in bed, and I couldn't get to the toilet. I was that bad. The pain and the fatigue was so bad I couldn't do that. And it was at that point that my wife and myself, we knew we had to do something. I was taking maximum of all painkillers and drugs. The co-codamol has 500 grams of paracetamol in, and I was taking 12 of those a day, as well as the morphine patches, and not being able to get out of bed for 3 months. So she was having to get the kids up, fed, dressed, off to school, then drove to work, did a full day's work, came home, picked up the kids, homework, football, washed clothes, cleaned the apartment, made dinner, all of that, and then did it all again. No support from me, because I could not get out of bed. That's how bad it was. It was at that point we moved to a much warmer country, and things have changed. I'm not cured by a long shot. I still suffer from the same problems, but it felt, when the sun's out, that I call them my superpowers. I'm able to deliver my kids. I'm able to do all of that. Again, I can't remember if I said this before. If I have, I apologise. But just being able to take part in my family's life it's everything to me. Laying in bed is not the way to go, and if you're in bed, I'll talk about how you get out. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a professional, as you can tell by the quality of this video. I'm a sufferer, and I'm a sufferer that has suffered for a long time, probably longer than, well, most of you, hopefully, that you've not suffered for a long time. So if I have information, if I have something I can help with, I will. Yeah, anyway, moving on. The list. Mood disorders. Mood disorders, I don't know if I can agree with that. I think it's a situational depression or situational mood disorder per se. It's due to your circumstances that your mood changes. You're having a good day, a better day than normal, still shittier than everybody else is on the planet, but you know, everything's going fine, and then suddenly the pain hits. It's like a knife in your hip, and I'm not joking here. Those that don't have fibromyalgia will not understand it. It is like a knife, hot bladed knife into your joint, and of course you're gonna snap and you're gonna bitch and moan. And I mean, I was a moaner before, but I wasn't a sad moaner. I was a happy moaner. Now I'm not a cranky old man, but I'm cranky. How my wife puts up with me, I do not know, let alone my kids. I'm a very, very, very lucky man. But again, I'll get into that because the mood disorders and the anxiety and the depression, that's all in the same sort of field, and I do want to hit on that. It is important. You do feel alone with fibromyalgia. Even all of the doctors, you know, they don't believe you. You have to convince them that there is something wrong with you. Look, every test that they do on you, you can do it fine, but then they don't see you going home and being in bed for a week because they've worn you out completely. So I'll get into, I'm going to break these down. I'm going to try and help where I can and give some advice. Hopefully it'll help someone. If it doesn't, well, all I've done is wasted more of my lots and lots of spare time, my loneliness at home, because I can't go out and see friends because I get nervous and anxious. Yeah. Alright, well, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments below, please. And if you're going to be one of these people that wants to tear me a new one, don't. My life's hard enough without having to defend myself. I'm John. I'm not an expert. I'm a sufferer, and if I can help somebody suffer less, then that would be great. Okay, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.